All right, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy, and we got some things that we need to address. But before we dive into it, I wanted to talk about today's surprise 24-hour shop because I actually think if you spend money on the game, today's a day that you might want to consider spending for the token selector for the team up collection. This one right here for $10.99 for me. If you're in the States, it's going to be looking like something like $7.99 or something like that, because Canada, we got monopoly money over here. But yeah, I think this is actually a good deal if you spend money. Obviously, if you don't spend money, you're in a completely different headspace. And the reason why I say that is because usually if you want to get 200 tokens, you have to spend $70, 70 Canadian. I think it's 49 US, right? But in that pack, you usually get 3,500 crystals and 600 tokens. Still not a bad deal, but if you're a lower spender and you want to try and max out one of your team up collection, I honestly think today is not a bad day to spend. As you can see, I am struggling because I don't spend for the team up collection things at all, really. Like, I think I spent once, and I was lucky enough after using 600 tokens to get to where I am right now. And then after that, I've just been pumping all of the extra tokens that I got into this, and I've just been failing. Now, if you're at the point where I'm at right now and you're trying to get to level 15, this is a very difficult hurdle. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best value. You might just waste $10 or whatever your currency is, right? $11 for me plus tax, so probably like $13. I'm legitimately gonna spend the $10, and more than likely I'm gonna fail the 3 or 4 upgrades that I'm gonna four upgrades that I'm gonna get. But I'm just gonna YOLO it, all right? But if you are, I guess, lower down and you care about upgrading to maybe 14, because the lower levels are significantly easier. Once you get higher, obviously the percentage goes down. As for the rest of the stuff in the shop here, I personally think it's not worth buying. Like the Titan component packs, bro, look at my inventory. If you play the game, you're gonna have so much, but the gold, yeah, it's basically free, so you could get it, right? But if you look at my inventory, you're gonna have so much Titan component pack and Essence of Dimension. Honestly, they should have put something else there, but I guess it's to help the new / returning players. And as for the Radiant Element Ruins, I think that's a bad deal for 500 crystals. I wouldn't even buy it, like, honestly. And I have a lot of crystals, and the reason why is, bro, it takes so much RNG to complete a sword the normal way. I have never, ever got a single sword to go to +6 with the same color, even after using Rune of Returns to try and remove the 6th stone and redoing it multiple times. All 4 of the swords that I have completed right now, the red, the blue, the green, the pink or purple, whatever color you guys see, maybe you're colorblind, whatever. Point is, I got them all from bingo, so I wouldn't waste the crystals, because more than likely these big ruin stones are not gonna do much for you. That's just me. However, I'm gonna scoop the tokens and YOLO it and see if we make some progress. Now, on to today's video. What I wanted to address is Team Battle Arena. Couple things that we got to address. One, a lot of times this game mode does not reset with the daily reset. What I'm talking about is when you log in after the daily reset and you pull up this board here and you start getting ready to do your dailies, you're gonna notice, and let me know in the comments, maybe it's only happening to me, but I notice it happens quite a lot. I'll come here and I usually just go from here and I do all of my dailies. Yes, I'm still one of the people doing story mode. As you can see down here, I already did ultimate dimensional clash, whatever. Point is, a lot of time it does not show up here, and it leads to a lot of people not remembering to do their Team Battle Arena. And you want to do it because it's a new way to farm tier 4 materials, and depending on how high you are, you can get yourself an extra 400 crystals per month. It's an extra 100 crystals a week. It's not that much, but if you're in Vibranium, it's decent. Okay, 400 crystals after 3 months, that's a free uniform. You know what I'm saying? So Every little bit helps. And this is a game mode that they added with the 10-year anniversary. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect, but it is a new way for you to get CTPs, Odins, and as you can see, tier 4 materials, and a little drop, a little sprinkle of team up collection tokens if you're a mega whale, or if you're just super close to leveling up one of your collections and you just need a couple extra tokens. I don't think it's a good deal to spend it on that. I personally think tier 4 materials is the way to go no matter what. Now, that's the bug that they need to address. What we need to talk about though are the real problems with this game mode, and I'm just going to show you guys right now what that is. Look at this guy's team, 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 and so on and so forth. And yeah, you're gonna notice that it's the same old tired meta from Timeline Battle, Otherworld Arena, and AC to an extent. It's the same guys that's dominated the game and will continue to dominate the other modes. I thought when they introduced this mode, it was going to be a way for us to use characters that otherwise cannot be used because they're not powerful enough. It was my hope for this mode that they would create a place for lower tier heroes to shine, a place for characters like the Defenders, characters like the Fantastic Four, maybe the Eternals even, right? But if this mode is just here as a new way to farm materials, I'm happy with it. If it's not here for us to have fun with more characters per se, I'll be okay with it. But realistically, I thought it was going to be something different. I don't want to sit here and complain about more crystals and tier 4 materials, but what's the point of us having all of these characters in the game if we're just going to be using the same handful of characters? And I get it, this mode is different than Timeline Battle where you can only use a team of 3. It's different than Otherworld Battle where you can only use a team of 5, and it's different than Alliance Conquest where you can use a team of 6, right? So yes, 15 characters, it's definitely a big change. It forces you to reach deeper into your roster, but I would have liked it to force you to go even further beyond. Shout out to Goku. You know, I'm saying if you know, you know. However, it doesn't do enough. Let me turn off my camera right here. This right here is the ban list for this week. It only bans one character that is currently a part of the meta, and that's Magic. And the week before that, it only banned, actually it didn't ban anyone that was relevant, right? It was, I believe, the agility tag. And the only one that might have been affected by that is Spider-Man, but I don't even think Spider-Man has the agility tag. So my point is, I do like the fact that this mode is different, and each character, or rather each tier of character, has a point system assigned to them. So tier 1 natives, 25 points. Tier 2 natives, 35 points. And tier 3 natives, 45 points. I really like this system because it prevents you from using people like Null and Sentry on the exact same team and then still be able to use anyone else. And you can't use a team of just 2. So that is an amazing addition to this mode. However, I don't think they went far enough. And I might upset some of the free-to-play players or some of the lower spenders who maybe are just coming back to the game or just don't want to build a very big roster. They like using the same 10 to 15 characters over and over and over and over again. For me, I like being able to play with a diverse section of the game. That's why I like to play AC. I like to use as many characters as possible. I don't believe in just building my characters for them to just sit there and I just spend money year after year to buy uniforms for them to look better, but I can't use them for anything, right? Because my entire hope was that this mode would allow me to use people like Electra, you know, that really don't get used outside of a team 2 for Alliance Conquest. But I understand that some of the free-to-play players are gonna look at this and be like, man, I spent all of my resources building up Null, building up Sentry, building up Doctor Doom and Thanos, and I finally feel like I'm now at a place where I can, stand toe to toe with the big dogs that's really been kicking my ass. And now you're telling me I need to build up, like, what you want is for them to make it so you can use even more characters and then basically get me locked out when they ban my Null or ban my Sentry. No, I don't want that. But the truth of the matter is, bro, this game has so many characters that deserve a chance to be useful. Like, I get it. Some of you guys don't want to spend money. It's okay. Some of y'all don't want to spend the time to build up the characters. I get it. But these characters exist, and I think they should have a place where they can shine. So I'm gonna suggest some ways that I think this mode could be better. And if you guys agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. But truthfully speaking, part of the fun of Marvel Future Fight is being able to use all of your favorite characters, and being able to use them in not only PvE for low tier stuff, but also PvP, even if it's at the lowest tier, is really good, right? So anyways, let's get into it. I personally think what they should do is when they have the no restriction week, because this ban list lasts for 2 weeks, right? When they have the no restriction week, I think they should make it so that all of the tier 1 native characters, so people like Kamala Khan or Groot or She-Hulk or, I don't know, Red Hulk or Red Skull or freaking Red Goblin, whoever, right? All the characters that have 25 points assigned to them, all of them should receive a big attack and damage reduction buff. Not just attack, actually, like damage buff. Because getting more attack is good, but getting extra damage dealt buffed is actually even better. It's why someone like She-Hulk that gives you 65% extra damage to males is a better leadership than Crescent, even if Crescent is offering you 70% attack. You see what I'm saying? Damage dealt is way more powerful than all attack. But I do think that they should do something like that to make it so that the characters that are tier 1 native have a fighting chance in the weeks when every character can be used, to create a more diverse environment. So like maybe 400% damage buff to all of the tier 1 native characters, and 30 or 40% extra defense for them, or maybe like 300% damage reduction to them, so that they are not just instantly one tapped and out the table when they run into a null. That would help not only whales to play around and theory craft and use some cheeky teams, but it'll also help out free to play and low spenders, because they're not at the place where they can build up a null or a sentry yet. So I think that would be a really good thing for this mode. How cool would it be to see somebody like Electra kill a null? You'll never see that anywhere else, and that's fine. But if there's one game mode where the weak can beat the strong, wouldn't that be nice? I just think it would be cool if they did something like that, and we kind of have some semblance of that already, right? They didn't take it far enough, but what I mean by that is right here in Timeline Battle, where they buff these characters but no one ever uses them because the buffs that they give them are just not strong enough. As you can see right here, they're giving them attack, extra HP, and defense, and the number that's assigned to the character is the amplifier. So the base at 1 will get 10%, and if you have 5, then you'll get 50%. But again, like I said, there's attack and defense can only take you so far. The HP is nice, but you want extra damage dealt and you want damage reduction. That's what would really make it so that you can use a diverse section of the game. Anyways, back to Team Battle Arena. Like I said, giving them extra damage dealt and damage reduction would be a really good way to make it so that not everyone is using the same 8 to 10 characters and then filling in 1 or 2 supports, that are outside of the meta that they think is cheeky. Because before you know it, after like 3 days, everyone's using the same team. And I'm sure the same thing might happen if they even use some of the ideas that I'm going to drop here. But at least it wouldn't be every week Silver Surfer, Adam Warlock, Sentry, Null, Wolverine, Deadpool. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what this mode is already becoming. And that's going to be the case if they change nothing. Anyways, moving on. They need to ban more tags. Honestly, we have 42 different tags in the game. Yes, not every character has every tag, but if you go right here to the ability section, there is 42 of them. What in the hell are these devs thinking when they're only banning one tag? That's crazy. You need to amplify that times 5 or times 10 for it to truly be impactful. Think about it. Just think about it. From 42, you're going to ban one? That is like 2%. You amplify this by 5, then you're up to like 11%. That might be impactful. You amplify that by 10, now we're talking 20%. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what tags they choose, the meta will look completely different on any given week. That to me is fun. Coming in here and spending 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes cooking up a team that I've never ever used before, and then jumping into the game mode and watching how these characters interact with what other people have decided to use is absolutely fantastic. But watching Adam fight Adam and Silver Surfer fight Silver Surfer is literally a dice roll. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure it would still ultimately become a dice roll, but it would be really nice to see some fresh faces that we've never seen ever in PvP. And this mode can do it. And we have to, like, you know, try to push them to do that before they just leave this game mode to rot in mediocrity. Anyways, truly think they need to consider banning more tags to make the game mode more fun and more interesting. 42 tags and only banning one is just, at a time, is just crazy, bro. Now, another thing I think they could do here is just ban tier 2 natives altogether. For 2 weeks, there's no Thanos, there's no Adam Warlock, there's no Doom, there is no one that starts off at tier 2. They could leave the tier 3 natives in for that week, right? And then, in addition to that, another week, they could literally just ban the tier 3 natives and the tier 2 natives, and make it so that everyone has to use characters that start off at base tier 1. That would be interesting to me. I can't remember a time that I've gone into PvP and seen a team that doesn't have a tier 2 native on it. Like, that's literally now become the meta. If the character doesn't start off at tier 2 or tier 3 natively, your PvP team has no chance, right? So I honestly think that would be a way to make this mode different than other modes. They could even go further than that. They could literally make it so that anyone that is tier 4able is banned for 2 weeks. You know? Now you're down to only using tier 3s and awakened characters. That would be interesting. For some of you guys who are new to the game, we used to have this thing called Battle World. And when I first started, there used to be 4-star Battle World, I believe, or 3-star Battle World. So you could only use characters that you had at 3 stars. You know what I'm saying? And then we had Battle World that you could only use tier 2 characters in. Like, that would be interesting. Now, at this point in the game, it would have to be characters that can reach a certain tier be excluded. Because if you are a whale, or if you spend money on the game, or you're a first adopter or whatever, and you have a character at tier 4 and somebody has them at tier 3, and the tier 4 version is banned, but the tier 3 version is not, then you'd be at a disadvantage only because you've already tier 4 that character. So for me, I think it would be really cool if they made it so that for 2 weeks, any character that has the ability to get to tier 4 is immediately out. Tell me what you guys think of that idea. Like, honestly, I think it would spice up this game mode tremendously. In addition to that, they could make this even more spicy, and after, like, I don't know, 6 months of this game mode, or like maybe once or twice a year, they look at the most used characters, the most popular characters, and then for 2 weeks just ban all of the ones that are used on a regular basis. You know, to just create a state where we just get some fresh faces in there for 2 weeks. That would be cool to me. And lastly, one of the ways that they can make money, actually all the ideas that I'm dropping here today makes them money, because it forces you to build up more of your rosters, and it forces you to buy more uniforms, which ultimately benefits the game, but also should theoretically increase your enjoyment of the game, because you're now able to play with more characters in a different way, right? But another way that they could actually make money from this, and it would be pretty interesting, is if when they did an update for specific characters, like for example, this update was all about the Thunderbolts. Well, all of the Thunderbolts in this mode here would get maybe, I don't know, 50% extra attack, 50% extra HP, whatever, for 2 weeks. to make it so that these characters don't just get a uniform, get an upgrade, and then they are just completely useless. Think about it. How often have you seen a character get a uniform, get a tier 3 or a tier 4? People upgrade them, they do one world boss clear with them, or maybe just not even one, and you never see them ever again. That happens a lot. Perfect example of this, Ghost. Imagine if you could use Ghost in this mode. Maybe she got 50% extra attack. Maybe she got healing from one of the buffs, like all Thunderbolts recover 30% HP every 15 seconds or whatever, right? Amazing updates, specific events. They could do that in here. Like, there's so many creative ways that they could do things in here to make this mode different. Why are we leaving it as just another stomping ground for all of the characters that are already stomping everywhere else in the game? I'm all about diversity, baby. Let's mix it up. Well, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I'm not just here to complain. I want to see change, and the only way for us to get change is to give constructive criticism. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.